I press the button. Nobody in here, but when people come in, you come in. If not, you can replay the stream and whatnot. But what's good, YouTube? It's Vontae the First, the day portion of Mugen Eclipse.
And my name is Mr. Twitchy. I am the night portion of Mugen Eclipse. And once again, we are joined by our good friend Shermaniac.
Hello, everyone. Happy to be back.
Yes, sir. So today, you guys see the title of this stream. I'm about to say video of this stream. We're gonna be talking about Bleach, Thousand Year Old Blood War, the Core One. So if you're a manga head, don't come in spoiling. Just talk about what we seen from the first part of the anime. It's been 6 months, which is crazy, or about 6 months, which is crazy from where we last left off at. But it's coming back, so we're hyped. All of us in here are hyped. I know you guys are hyped as well. And we're going to be talking about a few different things that we probably like from the season, or just any kind of predictions, theories, or stuff that we just wanted to talk about as well, that we probably roughly talked about in the past in videos, but now we got more time to dive into it a little bit more. So there's that. But you guys got anything to say before we even start?
No, Bleach was one of our first series on the channel. So we were kind of still figuring out our format, our style, our chemistry, just talking with two people on one video. But yeah, I think it was a good learning ground, and I'm excited for you guys to see how we've grown both in quality and in quantity in terms of the Bleach videos. So,
Yes, sir. But you, Sherm, you got anything to talk about before we hop into some of the discussion pieces?
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm looking forward to see where you guys are going as well. Bleach has always been a favorite of mine. I remember the first episode of Bleach I ever saw was when Byakuya went Bankai for the first time, and that episode just changed everything, like my entire view on anime, and really like threw me off the deep end into that. So seeing how well this the first core of the anime was taken care of, the animation, the OST, all of it, I'm so happy to see them doing this with the story.
Yep. Let's see. Is there anything you guys want to talk about first?
I think Sherm brought up a pretty good point. Who are some of your favorite characters? We can kind of stick more so to captains, I feel, first, and if you want to add
Captains.
one, yeah.
Okay. So I'll let the guest go first. So you go first, Sherm.
Yeah, I mean, so if we're strictly sticking to the captains, there's one favorite, and that, of course, is Shunsui, the goat.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. I
You
agree.
guys did that on purpose, didn't you?
Oh
I'm,
yeah.
so our top four, for some reason, was the exact same,
That's hilarious.
which is hysterical. Hysterical. It was Shunsui, Urahara, Grimjow, and Ikaku, right?
Actually,
Those
no.
four?
Grimjow wasn't that high up on
No,
my list,
it was.
but for Twitchy,
Yeah,
Oh yeah, Grimjaw's in my top 4.
yep. So it's like a mix. It's like a mix
Yeah.
of all of our favorites. But yeah, so I agree. So Shinshui is also my favorite captain. Just a cool ass dude, man. I just liked his aesthetic, his demeanor.
His style.
Yeah, he was like going back to the Soul Society arc. He was just very different from everybody else, like all the other captains. Like he was the first one
Right.
that seemed very didn't seem very antagonistic, So that's one reason why I kind of rock with him. Um, he bodied Chad, that's
I mean,
Oh god, who
it's
didn't?
Chad.
and but
I
he
wish I
like
could say better things about Chad.
man, yeah, a lot of potential. But what about you, Twitchy?
No surprise from the thumbnail for this particular live stream. My favorite is Kenpachi. I typically don't like the rule of cool characters as much as I do with the more complex, well-written ones. Not to say that he isn't. It's just before Core 1 started, we did not get nearly as much non-meatheadery from him than a lot of the other characters in the show. but especially with like Core 1, what it revealed, he's lowering his power level so he can enjoy the fight more. Absolutely crazy.
Mm-hmm.
His dynamic with Unohana, absolutely love that as well.
Oh, it's so beautiful and poetic. Like the fact it was all subconscious. I love when they take characters that are more one note in meat headery rule of cool, and then flip them on their head, and you learn the why behind it all.
Yep. That was that was a highlight for the season. Like I kept saying, I was like, this is the first time I've seen, or probably not that I've seen, but in a minute, for a character that is very quote unquote one note, that's just meathead type of character, actually have extremely complex like backstory, and the reason why he suppresses his power. And then Unohana adding that to the mix makes it make sense, even going back to when he fought against Ichigo the first time, learning about him being the strongest captain without having a Zanpakuto or knowing his name. It was just like, it's one of those things that, like, say if it was a retcon or something that Kubo had changed later on and he never planned on doing it, he did it very fucking good. Like,
No,
really
yeah.
good.
Yeah, like making it be subconscious and not like, oh, he had amnesia. Oh, someone else was
Yeah.
lowering his level. Like, it works so well.
I don't know. I kind of feel like it isn't a retcon. I know we have to like address the elephant in the room by asking that question, but does it really make sense that Ichigo can win 3 fights back to back to back versus like 1,000-year-old captains who have had
Ooh.
bankais for millennia?
Here's my thing. I don't think it's a retcon, but I can see why people would think that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I think more so people focus on like Ichigo's stance. Like, why is he able to beat these captains versus why did
Okay.
Kenpachi lose? It was like a mix of both, which
Right.
that's why
Yeah.
I think that fight really is starting to climb my ranks even more. I mean, it was always like a top 10 fight for me, but now it's getting even higher for me because of like, for both of the characters. Like, now knowing why or what the result of that fight, how that went on, now that we know it now about Kenpachi and Ichigo, it's like, it's pretty interesting. I don't see a lot of other series doing that, especially for two characters in one fight. They only do for one
Yeah.
character, never
Yeah.
for two.
And what was really nice about that first fight is that's almost like we get to see Ichigo actually inspire Kenpachi to finally improve again,
Yeah,
because Kenpachi probably had been stagnant and at a very comfortable power level for himself where he could just handle anything until this new young up and comer comes in and shows him something new, opens his eyes again. So I think that was like his first taste, because from then on we see Kenpachi get stronger each time we see him.
yeah.
I just like, what is his Shikai? I'm not even going to get to his Bankai yet, but like, now that he finally knows the name of his sword, or it was hinted at in Core 1 that he knows the name of his sword so he can go Shikai. What? Like, the only thing I can think of is kind of similar to Tozen, to where it's like a domain expansion-esque, like with those little bells on the end of his hair.
Oh.
So if maybe it's like a sound wave attack, to each time that he strikes you, it hits twice, like the Jujutsu Kaisen Black Flash.
Oh yeah, like you get him to strike itself, and then like the shock wave from the sound or something.
Yeah, that was really the only thought I had about his Shikai. Like, I need to see it in Core 2 because you guys hinted at it. Please don't wait until like Core 4 in 2 years to show me. But
I don't know, what could it be like, because I noticed with Bleach the characters. I think I seen a tweet about this like literally earlier too. Um, where people are arguing about like One Piece and Bleach, I believe. Like the characters in Bleach, their personalities really does match their power or whatever technique or whatever that they have, right? So for Kenpachi, he's a warrior. I don't know. I feel like his is gonna be different from everybody else's in terms of like, um, I don't know. I feel like his is going to be.
Could he have like a chainsaw man power? Because his blade is always ragged and chipped. It just starts moving. Or like a Nosuke when he gives the double dual blade to
Yeah,
cut off Daki's head.
I just feel it's gonna be very unorthodox for sure, something like that. But it's gonna be crazy though. I mean, obviously, I mean, his power. I mean, he's just got back to or surpassed what he was for the majority of the series. So he got that, and then once he gets this, yeah, it's GG's. Quincy's he probably gonna take out, even though he took out like 3 of them, he about to take out like 9 of them at this point.
Man puts in work every time he goes out on the field. Let's be honest.
Yeah. What are some of you guys' other favorite characters? Well, we kind of already said ours a little bit, but what about you, Twitchy?
So outside of Kenpachi, this is not this next 3, because I'll give the rest of my Mount Rushmore is not. Oh, like you like the main character? Yes, I like Ichigo. Ichigo is amazing. Like his Vasta Lord form is one of my favorite character designs in all anime manga. It is intimidating. It's powerful. It's the character design specifically, like how you were saying earlier, Vante, with the way that Kubo designs their powers to match their personalities. Like that is the embodiment of an MC's tenacity. Like you will not get that monster to submit if you're the main character. So Ichigo's great, and then obviously the 2 popular ones for the Arrancar, Grimjaw and Ulquiorra. Those are my other 2 favorites.
Okay,
That makes sense.
That's a great top 4.
Yeah.
Like,
Normally, I see people liking one or the other, not both Grimjaw and Ulquiorra.
Well, I like them for different reasons because, again, like Grimjaw is more like the meatheadery aspect of it, and I thought I saw somewhere that they were kind of based off of, I don't want to say like emotions, but like different philosophical mindsets. Like I want to say Ulquiorra is based on nihilism, if I'm not mistaken. Have you heard about any of this, Sherm?
Kind of makes sense.
I think so, yeah. Let me see if I can find any confirmation of this.
And I want to say that and that's hilarious because nihilism can only be achieved once you've reached a point in enlightenment and in society to where you can think about those things. And then Grimjaw kind of represents the more primal rage of humanity in terms of their propensity for violence.
That is pretty interesting. If that's the case, it is pretty interesting. Kind of already said my my next 2. So Urahara and my boy Ikaku Madarame. That's the GOAT right there.
When Ikaku pulled out his Bankai for the first time.
That's like,
this guy's like a 4th seat. A 4th seat has a Bankai?
3rd seat.
Yeah. 3rd seat. Is he a 3rd seat? I can't remember.
Yeah, he's a 3rd seat.
That's hilarious.
But man, when I first seen it, that was one of the like first like coolest moments, like peak moments for me in anime. I'm like, wow, the animation for it, and it's just cool. I always find it cool when there's like a standard for like a person in even in real life or anywhere, and they play a certain role, but they actually have like another level to it or like a even higher, like for him, obviously in Bleach when it comes to Bankai, right? Like people like him like shouldn't really have one in his tier. So it was just cool seeing that and the fact that like nobody knew about it.
Yeah,
I like those kind of moments.
because he had kept it he kept it secret because he still wanted to serve under Kenpachi, which speaks to Kenpachi's nature as a leader. Because typically, if you have a Bankai, then you have to be captain or vice captain, and he kept it a secret for a reason.
Right. So that's my 3rd. When it comes to like my top 10 in general, it's kind of hard, but I always really like Mayuri, and I know he's he's something else, but like
you better have an explanation for that.
I mean, when it comes to like villains, like he plays that villain. He was the first person in the Soul Society, like on the opposite of what I said a few minutes ago about Shinshui, about like him being the first or one of the first captains that wasn't antagonistic. Like Mayuri was the one that was like on the opposite end of the spectrum. That was like really, he was talking mad shit to Uryu about the Quincy, all that. He even had a picture of his grandfather. Why you carrying around a picture of his grandpa after he killed him, right? And then he threw it to him like, hey, look, I'm like, that's one thing, and also for him being a scientist, I find it really cool too, especially in a really early on in the series. We're in a soul society, like in a quote unquote, what's afterlife, but quote unquote like heaven type of realm. And you got scientists,
Yeah,
there, you got
still
a
have a
whole
science division.
yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
also one of my favorite moments with him, his speech when he had beat what's his name, Zialopado.
Oh yeah.
And the way that he defeated
One
him,
of
that's
the
one of the
worst deaths I've
craziest.
ever
Yeah.
experienced.
I
Oh
was
yeah.
like, yo.
I still get
Yeah.
chills to this day when I rewatch or think about that scene. This man experienced death for centuries.
He better recreate that against the Quincy's right now.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
something
What
like that.
what I love about Amayuri is he's just so entertaining to watch. Like he
Yeah.
has charisma.
Mm-hmm.
Like just he has a lot of charisma. You can't keep your eyes off him, and he's the exception to the rule when it comes to like most other captains in Soul Society. He's going to change his Shikai with science. He's going to change what he does and how he fights every time. Like with compare him to Hitsugaya, he's going to pull out his Bankai. He's going to freeze you every time. Whereas Amayuri always comes up with a new way to fight. He's always improving himself, adapting. That's why he's just so fun to watch. Is he a favorite character of mine? No, but do I love watching him on the screen? Yes.
You know
See,
what's
that's my thing.
really
I love charisma.
You know what's really interesting about Mayuri is, as Sherm said, he keeps adapting the way that he incorporates his Shikai into his fighting. One of the things that happened, this quick little mini theory, one of the things that happened in Core 1 is Opie, the jail, so Stern Rider J,
Mm-hmm.
he absorbed the Reishi from the surrounding Hueco Mundo in order to power up. And then in the first trailer, and then also in the second trailer for Core 2, we see Mayuri with that sunflower-esque armor. So,
What is he cooking? I'm gonna let him cook though.
okay. I don't know if you should let this man cook.
I mean,
Is
he's
because
the only one who can cook because he's the one who realized what the Quincy were even trying to do and sent out the warning, and then
all right, again, you guys, you might be surprised at where I'm going with this. So he actually was the one who killed 28,000 Rukon citizens from that district in order to rebalance the scale of Soul Society and the world of the living, so that when all of the hollows were being eradicated by the Quincy's, he thought the only way to correct that balance is to eliminate all of the Rukon citizens. I therefore theorize that sunflower-esque armor is the essence of citizens from the Rukon district. He is wearing human armor.
I mean, I would not be surprised because he's not a man to let anything go to waste. Let's say.
That's not something to use, though.
Yeah, that is a line right there. I mean, to him, that's literally just about any and everything, any means possible. That's really what Mayuri is all about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the ends definitely justify the means for him in every action he takes, which fits very well with him being a scientist.
Yeah. Let's see. What else do you guys want to get into from this season or Core 1?
So, before when you first heard about when Bleach was coming back and it was the 1,000-year blood war, what did you think it was going to be about? Like, who did you think was going to be the antagonist at that point?
I did not think it was going to be Yuhabaha. I unfortunately was spoiled on two things. One, Yuhabaha being the essence of Zangetsu inside of Ichigo.
Mm-hmm.
And then also that Yuhabaha was the king of the Quincy's.
Yeah.
But in terms of this 1,000-year blood war, No clue. It was with the Quincy's, if I'm being honest. Who I thought it might have been the antagonist. I thought maybe the Soul King. Because Eisen was saying what he said. I need to become the new king. I need to reach. I forget the name of the Soul King's palace, but
Royal Palace or the I forget. There's another name for it.
I can't remember what it is. But needless to say, I thought it had to be something with him, because if this is a king that is quote unquote immortal, I thought that this war would actually go on for 1,000 years. Not that it's been ongoing in the background.
I mean, especially from our perspective as anime onlys, like that title would make you think that. I think you come to that conclusion. For me, same thing as you. Like I knew of the Yuhabaha, the King of the Quincy's, but I didn't really know. Like even before I got that spoiler, same as you, I thought it was gonna be something with the Soul King because of what Eisen had said. I was okay, so that's probably next up, which would make sense. But then as we got closer and closer to the season, I was like, okay, it looks like it's gonna be about the Quincy's, but like how? That was a big thing, and it still is how.
I mean, I guess we can kind of talk about that. That's a pretty good segue. How do you feel that the Quincy's were able to essentially rebirth themselves into the conversation? Because from that flashback in one of the beginning of the episodes where Yamamoto in his prime with the original Gotei 13, they took out the Quincy's via the extermination mission.
Yeah.
How did they repopulate? I just how did Yuhabaha get away from that situation? He got stabbed through the chest by Sasakibe.
Right.
I mean, we'll probably get more into that, but there's always different ways that people can find a way to survive. And depending on who was the science leader at the time,
Yeah.
there very well could have been people with the blood of the Quincy that Soul Society just didn't know about.
Yep. That's what I was gonna say. Because I was thinking about like because even based off of when we learned about like his blood, it just runs through all the Quincy's. I was thinking of that it's something to do with science, where the scientist, whoever it is, was able to rebirth the Quincy's, but I don't think that like the ones that we're seeing right now, I don't know if they're like people who lived back then. I don't remember if they even got into that, but the fact that all of them look younger, like more in their prime, like quote unquote more perfect beings, I guess you could say, like prime years or whatever. I feel like they were rebirthed through that science, whatever that science project, the
Yeah, I
Quincy
mean,
project.
yeah, if it was science or magic or whatever, I remember later in the season we did see at some point Yuhaba had essentially taken all his power back, except from those who wanted to serve him.
Right.
And he probably was able to can probably split his power up similarly, potentially to Muzan from Demon Slayer, like
Yeah.
amongst his chosen.
Yep.
See, that's interesting. I had a different thought, and it was related to the way that the Quincy's were able to travel in and out of both the living world and Soul Society. I thought it had something to deal with the shadows. So we brought up that Soul Society is kind of reminiscent of heaven. So I started thinking about hell, and if the Soul King is representative of light, I feel like there should be an antithesis of dark and or shadows. And maybe this shadow devil took pity on Yuhabaha because the Soul King was able to convince or even ordered the original Gotei 13 to exterminate the Quincy's, because we know what happens when Quincy's eliminate hollows. They're essentially turned into nothingness, which
Right.
is another kind of like
yeah.
darkness is the absence of light. It doesn't technically exist, but it does. So I was thinking that potentially he made a deal with the devil in order to reincarnate in this, like the red frozen hell that I brought up in the trailer reaction, because it's nothing but a red sky, but it's frozen.
Yeah.
Mm. And it's true because the shadow thing was something that we did. Yeah, we saw it pretty early. Like, was it episode 1? I think.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, and then we seen it a few different times later too, especially once they infiltrated. So something with that definitely. I'm still personally. I don't even know how. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
they definitely have a way to hide or a place to go that Soul Reapers just currently cannot get there.
Like a pocket dimension somewhere. I don't know, something like that. Let's see.
You want to talk about Squad Zero?
Squad Zero.
Ooh, Squad Zero.
They're weird.
They are.
So
Talk
who's
about
the weirdest
charisma.
one of them?
The weirdest one has to be the Melatonin Present Mike.
Black Mike.
He's talking to swords as if they're women.
I mean,
why
be a
not?
little sexy, you know.
I mean, that's just lonely. That's what that is.
I mean, they don't care. I mean, it's only 5 of them that live up there, and then it's like, well, yeah, and then shoot.
Yeah.
Wait, was it confirmed that there's only 5 of them up there? I know that they don't have any subordinates in their actual crews, but are there any other living beings up there
Actually,
besides
they do.
the 5?
Because I remember, wasn't there when they were in the Springs? Wasn't there somebody that
They have, I think that they each have their own servants because there were other
Yeah.
people resting in
okay.
in the sauna. But as far as like the main fighters, the main 5, it's Tenjiro Kirinji, who's the hot spring demon, Kiryu Hikafune, who's the ruler of the grain. You have Uetsu Nimaya, who was god of the sword. And then there's Shinjimara Shitara, who is that research officer, who I don't think we've gone much into her, but we saw her interacting with people.
Yeah.
And then
She's Mayuri Senpai.
Right. Yeah. And then there's the other big guy, Ichibei Hyosube, which I don't think they revealed what he does yet.
I feel like it's got to be something physical. So I know in order to visit the Soul King's Palace dimension, you have to reinforce your bones. And I think that's kind of similar to the situation with Ulquiorra when he was in Hueco Mundo and he unleashed his Arrancar equivalent of a Bankai. It was raining Reishi. And it made people like bow down because like there's so much spiritual pressure
in the air.
Yeah, so I kind of theorize that is something similar with the Soul King, that he is like Reishi incarnate, and that Reishi incarnate is just too powerful for most living things to be within distance of. So I'm thinking, based on how jacked Ichigo is in trailer 2, that like this guy's just gonna put him on an All Might Deku training routine.
Yeah, that boy.
Yo, clean this beach for me.
We haven't had any janitors in this dimension for 1,000 years, so
For real.
Man, make Renji the janitor.
I was literally about to say that.
The janitor would do more to help us than him.
Like, clean up, Renji, boy, clean up. Why are you even here? Why am I looking at you as this number 2 or whatever? Get out of here! I'm trying to Rukia, wake up right now. So, like, come on, somebody, come on.
So here's an interesting thought. We saw Renji get a different Zanpakuto, same as Ichigo, right? Do you think Renji's powers are going to stay the same, be altered, or be completely different?
It don't even matter. But
so here's the thing with Renji's Bankai, it was essentially a bone snake. So for him to be the one that goes to the Soul King's palace, where you have to literally reinforce your bones in order to exist there, I feel like it is the 1 in a million perfect opportunity for him to get kind of like similar to, I want to say, is it Hellverse is the name of the 4th movie for Bleach?
Oh, I think I only saw the first movie, Memories of Nobody.
Oh,
That one was
one of my favorite
so
designs
good.
for Ichigo. He wears like golden skull armor.
Hmm.
I'll try to find it and send it in the group chat. But needless to say, I think Renji could have something similar to. He could have like bone armor that is an updated version of this increased bone density.
I mean, bone armor always slaps. Honestly, it can be such a cool design. I'm looking at it now. I think.
Also, he wasn't his Zanpakuto. It was like a baboon and a snake, like a snake.
Yeah,
Do we ever like see the baboon um like usually when from what I remember seeing is when he does release, it always usually looks like a snake, the bone snake. But
yeah. Like it's a baboon with like a snake tail or something.
the baboon, I guess, because of the fur. But I mean, what the hell's I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It really he really goes all in on the snake, which is goofy.
For real, goofy eye, goofy eye, Renji.
Goofy
So
orangey.
I know the answer to this because I've discussed this with Vontae, Sherm, but have you watched any of the Bleach filler?
No, I really haven't.
Most of it is trash. There is one that I really, really like. It's where the Zanpakuto get like Jinka forms to
Oh,
where
the one where they come to life
they
and
come to
turn on
life.
and turn on the on Soul Society.
Mm-hmm. So
Yeah.
Renji's in particular was really interesting. You had like this toddler child that was chained to like this busty woman who was wearing nothing but like fur. Absolutely buck wild. And I really wish that that would be incorporated in terms of like the canon of Bleach because it's just so fun of an arc.
I mean, it's definitely a wonderful concept that could have been amazing.
It must have been like well, I mean, it's filler. Never mind. I was about to say maybe that was another idea from Kubo that he probably thought about, and he said, "Hey, go ahead, go crazy." Hmm. Um. Oh yeah, that looks clean. I just seen the pic. Yeah, Renji, you can have you some drip. He's still gonna be weak, but you have you some drip. um.
Man, the wrestler yeeting him was hysterical.
I'm like,
Sent that boy flying.
Renji. It's just red-haired fools, man.
So, what did you think of the different Quincy's that we saw and their powers?
Man, all of them were just like fire. Like even the wrestling guy, like even if he little like a goofy type of character. I mean, hey, he's strong. He drop kicked Renji, but the what was it? F for fear. That one,
Yeah,
that was crazy. That was insane. That had me frightened for Byakuya. I'm like, what? Yeah, that if I was a captain and I had to match up against one of them, I'm not matching up against him.
oh heck no, heck no. Who were the other ones that we dealt with? There was the one that could have been really bad, but Yamamoto like ended him quick enough. The one who like got more powerful the more
Oh
kills he had.
yeah,
That could have been really bad.
yeah. Damn. That, and then let's see what's another one. The guy that bodied Kira made him turn to a donut.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Basby.
That's a cool ass name. I like that one.
It is. It's such a cool name, and and he's got like a simple design, but it's clean. Of course, there's there's Jay the jail who was fighting everybody at one point in Wickham.
Yeah. Shout out to his VA. I like his VA. He did a good job.
No, yeah. So just because I know that this is a favorite of yours and mine, but how many people do you think are gonna start training their keto?
Oh, and that's been my thing. I always tell you guys all the time when it comes to keto. I'm like, man, if I was come on, man. If I was a soul reaper, I'm training my
I would use
keto
keto all
all
day.
of that.
What is this?
The one that was like the Aquia and like the a few of the ones that
Eisen
were
had all
Eisen.
keto.
yeah, Eisen and like what's his name? Keyskate's like right hand man, that guy and
Yeah.
the big guy from the visors, like they're like the
Dude,
only people that
he's
really
so
used it.
dope.
I'm like,
I
what
don't
the
know what
hell?
it is about the visors. I don't like them.
Are you kidding me? Not even
No.
none of them.
Oh wait, by the
I-
way, hold on. That just reminded me. Shinji's actually my top 5.
Okay.
I like that. Shinji. Ooh,
Honestly,
Shinji
of the visored, he might be my favorite, but I don't think he cracks
that makes
like
the most sense.
my top 20, maybe.
Not top 20.
I mean,
It's going to be
that.
close.
I can see that. It's just Shinji. He's just really relatable. He's like the most normal type. Like he's me. Like he's goofy, but he can also be serious too. So like I like he's a very normal type of person.
He's a goofball with a switch.
Yeah. So and this is that simple for me. But I can see why you wouldn't have him that high though. I definitely can.
Which is like crazy because I absolutely love almost all of the Arankar. It's just the visors, they don't do anything for me.
For me, I'm the opposite, man. Fuck the Arankar.
I mean, like I like Grimjaw of the Arankar, but then like for me, I really liked the Vizards, especially when we had that turning back the pendulum arc, and we got to see them all as the captains in Soul Society. That was such.
You had your time. The future is now, old man.
Hey,
that was such a peak part.
Eyes is crazy.
The reason that we were talking about keto Twitchy is I was asking Vontae how many people does he think are going to start training on it for the next fight.
They all better, especially the ones that are Bankai stolen. Come on now, like.
I mean, look, if you got your Bankai swiped, then what else do you have left?
Have to.
You have to use keto. I mean, he's used it before. He's not like, oh well, I better turn to page 1 of this keto book.
No, that's what I said. I said he already got it, but the rest of them, no.
Oh yeah, like Soifan, she's like, oh well, I guess I can, I don't know, do some ninja stuff.
For real, like Yodorichi, like
where is she?
Oh,
man, what? Soifan just needs to take her lieutenant's sword and do something with it.
Like... Oh, that fool! Oh my god, what's his name?
He might be one of my least favorite characters.
Yeah. I seen him in the trailer too. I'm like, oh, are you really gonna fight?
I don't even care enough to remember his name.
I seen him in the trailer. I'm like, man,
no.
You better, body him. If he's still on some bullshit, body him, please. You better be serious this time, because your captain, like, she got her body stolen.
I will say, and this might just be like
Omida.
What?
Oh yeah, I knew it was an old name.
Oh, I don't care. You could have said literally any name, and I'd have been like, "Yeah, sure, whatever."
Gappy.
Oh man, are we getting that toxic already? What are we, 30 minutes in?
Oh no! That was just a name. You know what I'm saying?
No, hey, we said to say a name, right?
Just a name, huh?
That's just a name.
Treble, Dr. Hogbag, Judge,
Jump rope.
Stinks.
Anyway, what were we talking about?
You were going to say something about I guess about
you were wondering where Yorichi is.
Oh, yeah,
where is she at?
Same old.
So she's just a naked cat?
Hey. I mean, she should be doing her own thing, you know. Honestly, no, seriously though, like, where is she? Because like, I'm thinking about everybody that we've seen so far.
I
We've seen
mean,
everybody, and
yeah,
she better be cooking up something.
she could be somewhere in the real world, because we know that Urahara ventured out into Huecamundo, so she could be at his shop, like holding down the base there and watching
Oh
what
yeah, that's
happens.
important. He makes 2 yen a year.
Well, no, but like he watches like all the people with the spiritual energy in the world. Don
Yeah,
Kanonji,
I get it.
Tatsuki.
Don Kanoji.
Man, Tatsuki was such a good character, and nothing got done with her.
I always was saying this. I always said that like it would be so dope if like she also was a part of the group that like
Mhm.
actually. I was thinking about like her like training with Yodorichi or something like that because she
Right.
already can fight. Like
Yeah,
what you doing?
she was just on the outside group.
I'm like, man, and she had a cool like personality. Like you actually
Oh
like she
yeah,
actually seemed like a real person that you would know.
yeah.
So
Like, Tatsuki and Kukaku Shiba, they were like the first 2 women of Bleach that like really grabbed me, and I was like, okay,
yeah.
y'all are dope.
And then when Yodorichi, got out of the cat form, I was like, oh boy.
Hi there.
Okay. But yeah, so when it comes to these characters prepping and whatnot, you got Sajin going to the big dog.
Oh yeah,
Um
yeah. What is that? Did you expect him to like be one of a kind, or
uh
were you expecting to him like for it, like to be its own tribe thing?
I don't know. I don't know why I had a feeling that he like I really don't know. I didn't expect the clan thing. I thought it was gonna be more so like I don't know, somebody turned him into that or something.
Like a Mayuri experiment?
Yeah, or something like that. But that was interesting though, because the big dog, he was like, nah, man, like,
He wasn't
no,
happy.
forget them. Like, what you coming back to me now talking? Like, no, dude, nope, I don't mess with that. You just talking. I don't trust the Soul Reapers. I don't trust that. Nah.
For me, I didn't expect there to be like an entirely different race of sentient creatures. And it almost looks like they were looking down on the humans. I don't know if you guys had a similar feeling towards that or not.
I don't know if they were looking down on the humans, if as much as they were looking down on everything that's not them. If that makes sense.
So they're racist. They're just racist versus everybody. They're equal opportunity
mean,
racist.
When you really think about
God
it,
damn
Soul
it.
Society is kind of strange. Like even when we first got there, like all the districts and stuff, it's like,
Yeah.
damn, you go to heaven and you're in poverty again. What the hell?
Yeah, well, I mean, and also he had to like disguise himself for like the first part of Soul Society arc where we got introduced to him. So it could be that his clan had been persecuted for so long, which is why initially he was like hiding, so they may have a good reason for not wanting to help. We don't know yet.
I feel like it was because the conversation that they had, like even Sajin basically said, like it's different now. So, you know,
Well, going back to the earlier point that we've kind of connected a couple times, it's a purposeful choice by Kubo to have his Bankai be a giant when that dog was huge. That thing was like at least 10 stories big.
true. That
Yeah.
dog.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there are a lot of connections being made there.
He even barked at him, I think, too. That's how you know he was mad.
Yeah,
That boy barking.
he
But
was
but yeah, everybody's training. His guys training again. I'm like, hey man, you are one of the younger ones, so I mean, hey, like, don't worry. Yes, you're a prodigy, but still got room to grow. And
Yeah, and he was like, "I'll go back to the basics. I don't
yeah,
need to study magic yet. No keto for me. Let me just swing
so,
my sword some more."
so when Byakuya looked back at Renji, he was like, hey man, like, yo, like if this don't work out, like you got it. No, he don't. You know he don't got it. You've beaten him. You've seen him get beat by rookie Ichigo, and technically even way back when they first got Rukia in the world of the living. So like, hey man, I would not trust this guy. all he did was get drop kicked. You got your Bankai stolen, and you got like it used on you numerous times. You got fear
Yeah.
struck into you. Like it's so much that went on. You think Renji's gonna do
Didn't
anything?
he, after seeing Byakuya's Bankai get stolen, didn't he almost use his when he got drop kicked? Like, why
Yeah,
would you try and go Bankai immediately after watching what happens?
and then
Like,
Byakuya did it
are
twice
you
too.
just
Annoying.
assuming that they can only capture one Bankai at a time? Like, we don't know.
Yeah. See that one trick pony stuff. That's why I've had this problem with the Soul Reapers since the beginning. They did it in the beginning. They did
Hmm.
it in the Weko Mundo, or that whole arc in the
Yeah.
Rancor arc. And then they're doing it again. It's like I get it, but that's one thing with Kubo. I feel that like why did you do it like that? It was
But
too forced, in my opinion.
I love that it didn't work here.
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah,
they had been, they always rely on their Bankai for 1,000 years.
yep,
They've been doing, they're like, okay, I reached Bankai. This is the peak. I'm at the top of the mountain, top of my game. I'm
yeah.
good. And for like the first time, it's failing them.
You know what? It makes sense because there was even commentary about how the Gote 13 now is just like really weak
Or
compared to the
soft. Yeah.
yeah. So it does make sense for them to rely on that, kind of be all cutesy about everything, about everything else when it comes to like their culture, their tradition, or whatnot.
Hmm.
And then plus they haven't fought anybody, so
I
I mean
mean,
I don't
yeah,
even blame them for that.
just the Arankar and the Espada,
Yep.
but their Bankais kind of were able to manage that
Yeah. So
ish.
it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. Um, let's see. Um, what were you guys' favorite episodes, if you can remember, like from top to bottom
Oh,
in episode?
favorite episodes. Favorite episodes definitely. Oh, nice. Favorite episode is definitely probably going to be coming back and showing the whole history with Ishin and Masaki. Like, I really liked seeing that animated. That was great.
For me, I would probably say it was the episode of the fight and the conclusion of the death of Unohana versus
Okay.
Kenpachi, because that just kind of recontextualized both of those characters in a way that I wasn't expecting a connection to be made.
Yeah.
Mm,
What about
that
you? Okay.
so the Kenpachi Unohana stuff was really good. Writing wise, it was really really good. Um, Yamamoto.
I was about to
Yamamoto.
say one of the three of us has to talk about that
I mean,
Yamamoto.
that's the easy pick, but I mean, that's probably my favorite episode. It's just that's not the one that I chose to talk about.
That boy, he came out with he really had moves called Northwest, Southeast. Like what the hell? Like when you have moves that are like just simple words, it's always just fire to me. Like and when he came out and said Kakajuma no Shuki, whatever he said, I was like, okay, yeah, he's serious. Even though the result happens, I mean, hey,
Man's Bankai is a compass.
yeah, he was. It was so disrespectful on both sides, on his side
Oh
and
yeah.
Yuhaba, even though it wasn't Yuhaba. But
No,
whoa, into the record.
Yamamoto was being extremely arrogant and disrespectful.
Yeah, he brought the dead homies to
Wild.
that's that's wild. This man turned to he was like God and a Grim Reaper at the same time. Like, what the hell is he doing? But I would say, well, when it comes to like production wise, animation wise, that was my favorite. But yeah, my favorite. It's tough.
I don't know, the stuff with Ichigo's parents,
Mm-hmm.
that
Yep.
whole plot line. Like I was
Mhm.
aware of her being a Quincy, but it just seems so genuine with that relationship.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like there was any expectations of, oh, I saved your life and now you're going to marry me. Like, no, it was a very natural version of love that blossomed. Like, that might
Yeah.
sound a little bit cheesy, but honestly, I have not seen that type of romance in a shonen show feel that genuine in quite some time.
It was a very natural, no hesitation sacrifice to save her life and be with her for the rest of it. Like,
Yeah.
Because his dad's just a good dude. Like, I feel like he
No,
would have
yeah.
done that for literally anybody.
And it also, like, kind of like with the Kenpachi thing, when you go in depth with it, everything makes sense. Like, even for him to not like help out at any time until he got his powers back. Because I remember I was like, okay,
let's not excuse that all the way.
I
Like,
mean,
you could have told him a little bit more.
but he didn't have his powers, so, and it wasn't like that's you're
Okay,
talking about,
but
like, no, I know you're
I'm talking about
that
like
part.
anything.
That part.
Like, you didn't tell him about his Hollow backstory. You
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
tell him about his Quincy backstory.
I'm not even talking about that part though, but I was gonna get to that in a second.
Oh, okay.
That was
Because
I
I was
remember
like,
we both agree with that. It was
Ishin, like my
he could
man,
have said something.
300 chapters.
he wanted
too
to
late.
watch. He wanted to watch in the show, same as us.
Yeah,
Like,
but Aizen's writing it, so, like, come on, you got to be
Yeah.
an active player.
because it's one thing if you literally physically can't. That's why I was saying I'll excuse him for that, because he couldn't. Because I actually kept thinking, like, well, what the hell, you know? And
I
then now
mean,
that we learned that,
we've had hints since the very beginning that Ishin was something else and knew what was up. Because at that episode they went camping, Ishin knew that Khan was in his body.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, that's fair that we had the foreshadowing of him being something else.
But
My
him not
issue
saying
is-
anything, I get it.
Okay, when your son, like, returned from Hueco Mundo, you're telling me that, like, you didn't have any sort of Shinigami conversation with your son at that
Yeah,
point?
that's the thing that we both even agree with. I think when we watched it, it was like, yeah, could have said something.
Could have.
In terms of action, obviously, he just
Should have.
but should have.
No, yeah.
And I guess I'm trying to think why he didn't. I mean, obviously you have Urahara. He talks to him about, and Urahara does what he does as well. But I guess that's just for the viewer's sake, like for us to just be, to this point when we finally figure out everything. That kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think it's also important to realize that the Fullbring arc initially is where Kubo had wanted to end it, and then
that would make a lot more sense.
Shonen Jump was like, keep going, so he did this.
Damn.
So I know.
So I know, Sherm, you obviously are a manga reader and you've read up to the end, and I know that they have stated they're going to start adding more scenes to the anime that are anime original. Do you think that they're going to go past where the end ended, or do you think they're going to change some things up until where it got to that point?
I don't think they're going to add more past where it ended. I'm just hoping that they're going to fill in a lot of the gaps, because at the very end, I think that he had to wrap things up in like five chapters or something, and you can tell it was rushed. But if he's able to, like, if Kubo is working with the anime staff and adding things, like able to edit and move
that's
got
to be one of the dirtiest things that a company has ever done to a mangaka.
Big three.
Like, one of the big three.
Like, what?
Could you imagine if they did that to Oda? Like, it just all hell would break loose. Like, you would not.
Yeah, but the thing is, I think now this could just be me talking out my ass. So, but I think that Bleach was bigger over here in the West than it ever was in Japan. In Japan, One Piece is everywhere. Like, almost every store has One Piece merchandise, or at least a chopper or something. One Piece is everywhere in Japan. So, in terms of the big three, One Piece was always the biggest there. I feel like Naruto kind of was big in the West and Japan, but I feel like Bleach was definitely bigger over here. So, out of the big three, that may have more been a Western idea, whereas Japan may have just seen it more as a big two and a runner-up,
Oh,
potentially.
I had never thought about it like that.
Yeah, I never really just knew how big Bleach was in the. I mean, obviously I do because I mean, hey, we are Bleach fans right here. But like, I don't know. I never really thought about that to that degree. I always knew that Bleach was like the least popular out of the three, but I never got like deep dove into like for if
I
because you
mean,
said
I
that's just your
honestly,
assumption. So, but it sounds
yeah,
about right. So
yeah. I mean, like, because you always saw like people doing the Naruto to runs and all this, and more of the memes, but people were also saying Bankai all the time over here. So it's just like, I
See,
don't
I
know.
didn't even watch my first episode of anime outside of like Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh when I was growing up until I was like 21, 22. So for me,
Really?
I never really got into anime before like the last 7 or 8 years now. And I don't know, it's just I never really experienced any of the big three growing up. Like I might have saw one person do a Naruto run. I was like, that's kind of weird. But I just that wasn't something that I grew up with, particularly back when the big three were the big three.
yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
Bleach. Now that I remember, it was pretty big here. One Piece was actually the one that was It makes sense now that
Yeah.
I think about it
I think I
again.
remember watching like a episode of One Piece on like 4Kids.
Well,
And I was just
yeah,
like, dude, this
I
is
was
the
about to
weirdest
say
thing. I
four
don't feel like
kids.
watching this.
Sanji Lollipop.
4 kids killed One Piece. I'm for
I was
sure
like, this guy can stretch. I don't like that. Now I'm
But,
like, I love this.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I had the first manga, like in the first volume of One Piece at some point, and I really liked it. I had the GBA game. I put up with the 4 kids, but I also was a very big 4 kids kid. Like I watched Flint Hammer the Head, the Time Stone Detective, Fighting Foodons, Digimon. Like I watched all of that horrible crap. Like like it was absolutely like aimed for kids and wasn't made here in the West. But I watched all of that, so the One Piece never really bothered me.
So here's the question for you.
That's your introduction.
All right, go.
So I was going to ask you, Sherm. Obviously, I think I've noticed it more with the more recent Cour. But do you feel like the censorship in Bleach hurt it in the West? Because you had One Piece being this grand story to where once you got to like, I don't know, maybe like it's episode 300 where it changes to HD. Like you definitely see the production quality is there. For Naruto, like you have classic animation fights that people are still talking about 10 or 20 years later. But Bleach, I never really felt like, outside of a few major fights, that it really went up and above what an animation studio could do for a series of this caliber.
Yeah, I mean, that probably played into a big effect. Just because I can't think of any like big, really action scenes like until it's Ichigo going Bankai for the first time. Like, there's that one I can think of, but thinking about animated fights, no, there's not a lot from Bleach to go off of.
Just like like it's really all Ichigo fights when it is done. It's like Byakuya.
Yeah, because
Ichigo, Kenpachi, Ichigo, Byakuya, Ukiura.
Everything else.
Yeah, like I mean, I like a lot of the fights in the manga, but just were they animated well? No, not really back in the day. But it's getting the
Love it now.
love it deserves now. Was
A lot of
was
love.
Bleach weekly or was it seasonally? Because that has a big effect on it too.
I think it was weekly.
Yeah,
That
especially with
that
the
definitely
filler.
hurt. Same as, I mean, it hurt Naruto too. Like,
Yeah,
but so did the 300 episodes of filler before Shippuden or whatever it was, because that was a yikes.
which is wild. The way like
Yeah, like
5 years.
there. When I go back to OG Naruto, there's a reason I watched the Chunin exams, and that's it. Because that was the peak.
Well, that and then Sasuke retrieval, and then literally everything after that is filler.
Yeah. Oh, the
Which is
Sasuke retrieval.
weird.
Yeah, my boy Choji shining for the only time in the
For
series.
real, that was fire. All that was fire.
Oof.
Gara, Tamari, and Kankuro coming in,
Mhm.
helping them out. That was dope.
Oh yeah.
But let's see.
I mean, we haven't really talked about like Ichigo's Quincy heritage and what that might mean for his future power. Obviously, they introduced like the whole blue scenario when Yuhabaha tried to stab him in the neck.
Right.
But like, what
Yeah.
other Quincy powers do you think he might get?
I mean, isn't he like so after like at the end that we see he has like two he has like he's dual wield now, right?
He has two
Yeah.
Zangetsus.
So cause I'm thinking about like bow type stuff, but even when we seen the Quincy's, not all of them were using like bows or arrows and stuff that manifests in that kind of way. I don't know, like other than like what we have already seen from the Quincy's, like I can expect some of that blue aura.
Okay.
But I don't really know anything else to that.
See,
Yeah,
the only
I mean-
other idea I had was like if he were to manifest like the Cero Blast that his Vasta Lord form had at the edge of his blade. Because if he's able to condense the surrounding reishi into energy, concentrated energy, like he could even tap something with his sword and explode it like Yamamoto did in his Bankai form.
Right. I mean, is there any reason not to think he won't be able to do everything a normal Quincy can? Because with his as a Vizard, he's able to do like everything a Hollow can. So
okay, I guess this is maybe just me, and I don't know if Fonte feels the same way. Like, what happened to his Hollow powers? Like, we've seen almost next to nothing of his Hollow powers since like his fight with Aizen, right?
Yeah.
Is it like dormant now because he's now starting to awaken more of his Quincy powers?
Isn't that kind of the case, I believe? Or is it just more so now it's like we're focusing on his Zanpakuto rather than the full manifestation of the Hollow? You know?
Yeah,
Like
it's weird. I don't know. I feel like the Vasta Lord form is such a classic representation of Bleach that it's almost, I don't want to say a waste, but I feel like it's just being underutilized.
You know what? I think it's because most of the time the Hollow saved him. Now he's at the point in time where it's like
he doesn't
need it. The blue, yeah, and he has the Quincy stuff. So now that's kind of like overriding, or I shouldn't say overriding it, but like
it's just
he doesn't
prominent.
need it because it usually saved him all the time. Like even back in Soul Society, the mask will come up after he got like into a fight, and they're like, "Oh, what's going on with what's this mask that he has? Oh, it saved my life. I gotta keep it." And then it just kept on showing up, and then it gets Byakuya, and then Ukiora, and all that. So
yeah, I mean, I think that the general consensus is after that final Getsuga Tensho when he lost his
Shinigami powers.
Yeah, he lost all his powers. They went into into a shutdown mode, whatever you want to call it.
Huh.
So will he potentially be able to reawaken those also? Same as when Rukia stabbed him, he reawakened his Shinigami powers?
I
Potentially.
mean, look,
I
at
would
this point, he just needs to get bitten by a hollow because that worked on his mom.
imagine.
So like do you feel, I don't want to say disappointed, but slightly that he may not use that again, or not may not use it, but like
I
in
never,
the
I feel
form
like
that
it's
like
never
Master
going to
Lord.
be up to the level of what we saw in the past because, like you
Yeah,
said,
it's not.
just like his abilities now, they're more prominent in his design. Even like his
Mhm.
Bankai form, I feel like over time I've come to like his Bankai form less and less. I feel like it was such a clean design to start, and then it just got like over designed. Then you gave him like wrist guards or like bumps, like bones. I don't know. Maybe that's just me being a little bit of a stick in the mud, but
So remember at the end, his his Impacto changed, right? Because rather than just one, he's embracing like both parts of him.
Yeah.
So one of those swords could be representative of like him accepting his hollow power. So potentially he'll be able to use them. But if his Shikai changed, I would imagine his Bankai will be different as well.
And plus, didn't one of them didn't even have like a hilt to it? He was just like holding the blade.
Yeah, yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
I'd assume, you know what, he definitely will have the hollow again. It's just control. You know, like in series when people tap into that like very primal state or transformation or something like that, and they go out of control, and then eventually later on they end up controlling it. So he's gonna have that. Maybe the voice might be there, like the hollow voice or something like that, but he's just gonna have it fully controlled. I can see something like that happening, but he's gonna have it all. Quincy, Hollow, Soul Reaper. That's
He's
crazy.
DMC, right?
That man's crazy. Like what the how? Like this man
I
mixing
don't
everything.
understand.
And
Like I thought
then,
Aizen was for the longest time was capping when he said, "I planned out your entire life." He 100% was
yep.
not capping, and I don't understand like the series of events that had to happen for
That's
that
so
to
crazy.
happen in the way
That
that
is
it
so
did.
crazy.
Like a hollow had to bite a Quincy. This Quincy had to be in proximity to a sympathetic Soul Reaper. They had to be
Man.
of a different gender so they could have a kid. That kid then needed to die, get the trauma of seeing his Quincy hollow mom die via a hollow. So then he picks it up for his younger sisters to protect them, gets stabbed by a Shinigami who was going to die, transferred the powers into him, then uses that substance. Like,
You know what? That's
what?
probably why
I
Ishin
could
didn't
keep
say nothing.
going. No,
Maybe he was like,
we're
"Oh yeah,
still
you
not.
gotta die, boy. You gotta die. You have to. You have to do all this stuff. You got to go through all these trials and tribulations. You have to."
Yeah, I mean,
Or else he was
diamonds
gonna
are
run away.
forged under pressure.
But
Look,
then again,
no,
he'll just
we're
die and
still
this
not
will all happen.
excusing Ishin. Like
Yeah,
that
no, because
bum.
honestly,
He
because
is
even
like
if
Shonen
even if he
Dad
told him,
101.
because even if he told him to say Ichigo's like, yeah, you know what, f this, I'm about to just go away. He's still gonna die, and it's still gonna happen. And all that stuff's gonna happen again. more than
Jesus.
likely. But man, that
Fucking Aizen.
yeah, that's why I can't wait. Hopefully, we do see like Aizen and like Yohaba. I want to see a conversation between those two because literally these are the two that
We got a little glimpse
created
of
our
one, yeah.
MC, basically. Yeah, they did, but like more.
We
I
did get a
wanna see
little
more.
taste. Now, one of the thoughts that I had was potentially some of the original Gotei 13, they're not dead. They are actually in prison.
Huh.
That would make sense because I mean, if he's like down there
Yamamoto
like
was
that,
still alive,
yeah,
but he was old. But like I feel like
yeah.
he was one of the older OG Gotei 13s.
Mm-hmm.
Like plus that prison just exploded.
And plus he you know, obviously he changed his ways too, so I'm sure there are some of them that are like, nah, and then start doing wild stuff still, and then yep, lock him up.
Well, weren't they like a group of murderers that were just called
Yeah.
captains? Is that the
pretty
yeah,
much.
okay?
Like they're like assassins. And then
Something
once
like
he
that,
started
yeah.
to kind of change, I'm sure there's probably some of them that was like, yeah, nah. I mean, look at Unohana. I mean, she changed, but like once we seen
Yeah.
what she had to do, it's like, oh, nah,
She was
she
being
didn't want
selfish
it.
about it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just imagine all the other people, the ways that they would have wanted to like continue doing with it. Because just looking at some of them, like, yeah, nah, you bad news. You're bad news. Or he might have killed some, or they might have killed some of them.
One of them looks like a verifiable baddie. I'll say that.
Oh yeah.
Is it the one with the glasses or the eye patch?
Yes, the glasses.
Oh yeah, and then there's
The
one
glasses.
that's from the Shion clan, Shioan clan, Yodorichi's clan.
Oh yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I didn't know that.
Because I seen when we had seen them, I remember I think they put like their names. It was like in a Twitter post. Put their names in. I seen the name. I was like, oh, nice.
I really hope more than one, the one being Unohana, of course, comes back. Because I will say one of my favorite aspects of Core 1 was how they handled deaths. And not to say that Unohana can't come back, because that was more ambiguous than Yamamoto's death, but I feel like the way death was handled in this 12 or 13 episodes, it was really well done. It was a breath of fresh air since I've been reading One Piece recently. Like, those characters are actually dead.
That boy Yamamoto is gone.
Dude, he's in pieces. The pieces were burned to ash. The ashes were obliterated.
Yeah, I mean, he got sliced in half, and then just obliterated.
Jesus.
Yeah.
And he looks so sad, man.
Not
And our
the
boy
sad old
Shunsui had to step into the boots.
And also, I
think-
want to see what's his name? You know what I'm talking about.
Ukitake?
Shinsui's, yeah, Ukitake. Come on,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Gotta see something.
Something, anything.
Dual wield
Rukia got bodied.
or
Your
something.
friend's the OG head captain now. Like, you need to step it up. I understand you've been like under liver disease, or I don't. What did they say? What his sickness was? He's just been sick for like
Let me
ever.
see.
He literally been sick since we first seen. Like, I think he was one of the first captains we actually like saw when we got to the Soul Society.
Yeah, because he was Rukia's old
Mhm.
captain. Oh, tuberculosis.
Is
Bro,
that
you're on
a
the Soul
joke or is that
Society.
serious?
No, it's what he has.
I
It's
mean,
tuberculosis.
it's
Bruh,
not
we have a
serious.
cure for that in the human world.
For real. Maybe he need to
And
take a trip.
secondly, how do you get tuberculosis in Soul Society? How do you get
After you
any
die.
disease in Soul Society? You guys are spirits.
Man,
What?
if you die, come back in heaven and get tuberculosis.
Nah,
Bro,
Kubo,
you lost
you're not getting
twice.
away from that one. Kubo, what the hell is that? Like, it's not bad. It's like, okay, you can say it's not bad. It's just funny that, like, bro, Kubo.
Dude, just make him anemic. Make him anemic. Like, you don't have to give him tuberculosis, like a curable disease that humanity has a vaccine for. Like, that's just dirty. Oh my goodness. Not tuberculosis.
That's
I'm
absolutely
so
funny.
upset right now. Oh my god.
That's
I didn't want to
ridiculous.
know that, but now I'll never forget it.
I don't even want to joke about him. I can't do that to him.
Man's gonna be mid-swing, and he's like, "Hold on, I gotta die from this illness."
I'm like, what happened? I hope maybe it's like something made it happen like that. Like, I don't know. Like,
Oh, like
I
a
don't know.
trade-off, like he
Yeah, or
gets a
something.
Bankai, but he gets a mortal disease.
Because like
I don't know,
it
man. I
seems
think
to,
we're
like,
stretching, but
'cause he's been sick since we first met him. Like that would be so random to just have this man sick. You know, like why? There must be a reason.
that's a good point. I don't see how that benefits us in any way.
That's
That's
wild.
the thing, though. I like there should be some kind of reason. Like that would be kind of cool to see, but I mean,
Is tuberculosis contagious?
I
I don't know enough about it. Is it
I
contagious?
don't know. I do know that Sometimes tuberculosis can be drug resistant if the bacteria becomes resistant to the drugs, but there's that. Yeah, it's not as contagious as cold or flu. You would have to spend prolonged periods in close contact with an infected person. So his vice captain better watch out.
Oh yeah, both of them. Then they probably
Oh, I
want
was
it
going to say maybe he got it from a parent.
or something.
Yeah, it mentions specifically families that live in the same house have a chance of all getting it if one gets it.
Mm. He need to go ask Unohana for some help,
Ooh, there could be some sad stuff there.
or old boy in the royal palace or whatever. Like,
Go to the
'cause, my
sauna.
guy, I'm sure you're tight with all of them. I mean,
Man,
you're one of the older ones, right? So like, come on, dude. You one of his first students.
he
I'm
lost his
also his first
ticket.
students.
He lost his passport.
Damn. Or maybe say, yeah, we don't want to help y'all, because they have basically said like, no, you guys handle things where you handle things, we handle things where we handle things. So that'd be cool if we seen somebody that like upgrade to
Why
one
is
of their
this like
positions.
Willy Wonka? This guy has a disease.
For real. But that'd be cool if we see somebody like get promoted to that position up there, like that we know of already from the Soul Society. But I just don't know who or how they.
Yeah, exactly. So I was rewatching one of the episodes, and they say you have to be selected to Squad
Yeah.
Zero. Like, what is that selection process?
So I think that they specifically went into what that selection process is.
I mean,
And you essentially have to make
guess?
something that was never
I feel like
before
Shinji would be
seen.
the obvious choice.
Like, because there's the guy who made the Zanpakuto, hang on, I just had it up. Let me pull it back up.
Oh yeah, that was pretty cool too.
Because
Though.
That makes sense.
Zanpakuto didn't exist
Made the
until
soul,
he made them.
pods, right?
She made artificial souls. It looks like the hot spring
He
demon.
probably made new healing techniques.
He invented keto. It
Oh,
did not
okay.
exist until him.
Really?
Okay,
Yes.
okay. That's what I was gonna ask.
What?
Like, so what other? I was trying to think of like potential other like things that we haven't seen, or I mean, not haven't seen that we've seen that they don't have. But that's one I was gonna ask about. But that makes sense then at that point,
Huh.
or kinda.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how you get up there and join Squad Zero. You got to be special.
But how does that benefit the Soul King? Like, you would have to be able to fight at least to a certain extent. Like, just because you're an inventor doesn't mean that you should be invited to the royal palace.
Yeah,
you
but
would still have to be defended.
think
right?
about how much keto, like, so keto when used properly by like Aizen or the Vizard homie, like, it can be so incredible and powerful. The guy who invented it, he has to have spells that other people don't know, right? Why would he have stopped inventing keto spells? So he can probably handle his own. The guy who made the Zanpakuto, think about how influential that was for Soul Society. Shikai, Bankai, those didn't exist without him. He led the way for all of those. The original Bankai would have to be his, right?
And not
Were
only
they just
that,
fighting like fisticuffs before they had swords?
probably
Could have just been
I'm gonna
fighting with
box a
normal
hollow at
swords.
4 p.m. Ma, get the calendar.
And plus, I'm sure that maybe they would think at some point, like people like Urahara, for example, can create different things and be a little innovative. So they feel like, well, there's other people that's going to come up with different ideas. So let's just, I don't know, they get selected, they go up there with the Soul King, and then let some of the newer people kind of, like in real life, basically, where your successors.
Bruh, if Aizen is able to actually make that key, he's going to be able to go up there.
That boy
Like,
ain't
if
making
he's
nothing.
the first person to actually make a key, no, he's got to come back. Like, It just depends on how desperate they get. So if they invade the
they're gonna get him.
Wandenreich's
Watch.
home base and they get mopped a second time, they're gonna have to be like, well, Eisen,
They got to.
we're gonna speed up your your prison sentence.
They got to. But Eisen's always so interesting to me. I know this is not really from this season, but like, or this core, but like, his whole thing too. Like when you simplify it to like all the things that he was doing and simplify it to like his character, he's just always him. He was just born as him, and I mean, he kind of was just waiting for somebody like a Ichigo too to pop
Yeah,
up.
I mean, he
was lonely, basically.
he single-handedly like got rid of Shinji, got rid of Urahara, like when they were low-key in their prime. Like they were captains at the time, and Aizen got rid of them with no one being the wiser. That's insane. Aizen absolutely has always been him.
Yeah, he was born gifted as hell, and I think even when Ichigo, when they had him and Urahara defeated them and sealed them, I think Ichigo even mentioned
Before
it.
I started Bleach, I've
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were going to finish that point.
Oh no. Yeah, I was going to let you go.
I was just going to say that like before I started Bleach, I had heard rumors of Aizen being like one of the most overpowered characters in fiction. I was still not prepared.
No one ever is.
All 5 senses, and all you have to do is look at it once in your lifetime. Like,
bro,
what's your mind?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, his Shikai. What?
I just don't.
Like what? Like
I don't know. Like at this point, you're just gonna rewind time. You're gonna write another story.
And like he was already really strong too.
Ichigo's
Though. That's
sister
the other
becomes
part.
the main character.
Like I don't Kubo. He's never really went into depth about Aizen because like he was always really strong too, right?
Smart.
Yeah,
I mean, he's really adept at Keto. He went the highest besides the monk guy.
Yeah, like he was very adept at Keto. He probably saw people weren't studying Keto and was like, "Y'all are stupid. Let me get on this."
But then there's always I've seen conversations about like him or discourse about him having like a god complex. But like it's interesting when you see characters like that because I mean,
wouldn't you?
he kind of was just superior to most people, and I mean, look at his goals compared to anybody else's goals. Like he basically wanted to become God. Like I mean, and he has the means of doing it. The brains, the skill, the strength, basically.
Oh, yeah.
And he created the strongest, one of the strongest MCs we ever seen. So it's like, or had a hand in that. So I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's wild.
But let's see. Trying to think of some episodes.
I guess really the only other thing that I had left to talk about was I know we talked about him briefly, but Uryu.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
like he is going to be so pivotal in Core 2, and his story is like the focus of this core. I feel Ichigo's was Core 1. This will be Uryu's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like a lot of Core 1 was just Uryu kind of trying to figure out what path he wanted to be on and just learning to make an educated choice, which actually props to him because most people go off of emotions, not logic, but he's actually trying to look and make the best choice.
Sasuke. But yeah, that's true though. Like, and like you said, it does look like it's very much his focus, especially looking at the trailer. Even looking at the color of the Bleach logo is blue now. I mean,
that blue gonna hit, but I'm gonna miss the pink. The
pink was unique.
Mm-hmm.
And isn't doesn't Ichigo mean strawberry?
Yes.
So that's up its alley right there. I wonder if they're gonna go with something different for the third and fourth.
We need some
Well,
emerald green in there for Townsy.
Well, it's interesting you say that. At the end of the trailer, I don't know if you caught that, Vontae. Like Ichigo had 4 different colored, like those
Oh yeah, I've
energy
seen that.
pillars
Yep.
around him. So I was thinking, like, are there different types of? I don't want to call it like elemental hockey, but like that's the best analogy I can think of right now. Like, is there different types of like elemental reishi? Because I know a lot of the Quincy's, they were using like the light blue, and then most of the hollows have been like red thematically.
I mean, when you say like elemental reishi, I just immediately go to an explanation for why different bankai have different elements, but I'm not sure if the color really plays.
Okay.
How much the color plays into that.
I mean, you could think about it as like a spiritual core of the bankai.
Yeah. He's just him, so he's got all the colors, you know. But who do you though? So that's interesting. So, and even in the trailer,
Ronnie's in the chat. Hey, Ronnie.
Hey yo.
Hello.
Let me. Matter of fact, let me give you mod.
Uryu is such an interesting dynamic because I think it was Vontae that said it, but he is a smart Deuteragnor. He's a smart like second MC. I can't pronounce
a Deuter antagonist.
But like, yeah. And he actually took the time to investigate and learn for himself how he should go about this. So he was thinking of his conversation with Ichigo, how he's known him since he was a child, and his dad gave up being a Quincy, but yet his grandfather was so for being, I don't want to call them expectations, but like his family has a history of being Quincy's for a specific reason. And now he has to juxtapose that with how Ichigo is doing things, how he's seeing things be done by Ichigo. And Ichigo isn't really a Soul Reaper, but he is. It's like, does he represent Soul Society? But Soul Society is changing because they interacted with Soul Society.
Right. Yeah,
there's so much going on with him.
Yeah, Ichigo has always been his own thing. He was a substitute Soul Reaper, I think was the canon term for him for so long. But yeah, he's not necessarily representative of Soul Society because first and foremost, he's a human. Like he was a normal guy until the show started.
Ukitake doesn't have tuberculosis. That's what Gambino said.
Oh, he doesn't? That's what it was saying on Google.
I guess they was like, you know what? Shoot, it might as well be because he would be coughing and
he's got all the.
I'm glad it's not if that's the case. Because I don't want to have to clown my boy Ukitake like that. That's my boy's boy. That's our boy's boy. You know, can't clown him. So our boy Shinsui's boy. But yeah, this training for Ichigo though, yeah, he's watch when he comes back. I mean, we already see what he's done when he had got back to the Soul Society with that first person POV. He just went through that one guy, started throwing hands or swinging swords with Yuhaba. So it's like, yeah. So just imagine now when he comes back. I mean, that he's about to be. He's about to do something wild. Him and Kenpachi, like.
Here's the $1 million question, Sherm. How'd they do on the scene? How'd they do on the Save Soul Society Ichigo?
Oh, it was wonderful. Like,
that's what
I said, like finally in this Cour, they were like giving Bleach the love and the care that it's always deserved. We're finally getting people who have. I feel like this team that they had working on it actually had a passion for Bleach itself.
Okay, that's why they put down Black Clover and they say, yeah, let's go crazy with Bleach and Boruto. That also got a break
Cool.
too. They say, yeah, we about to go crazy with Bleach, which is lovely.
Yeah. Yeah, Bleach has been needing its renaissance.
I'm
for
glad
a
they're getting
while.
the recognition for it.
Yeah.
Finally.
Like, but that is a kind of from a financial perspective. I know that this isn't everyone's favorite topic when it comes to anime, but from the financial perspective, that is quite the gamble to bring back a series that hadn't been on air for 10 years.
I could see that in theory, but a lot of people like Bleach.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of people, once it got announced and started happening, a lot of people did a switch up because a lot of Bleach haters were, or people who have talked negatively about it in the past, kind of jumped on it just because of nostalgia. Like it's
Well,
one
I
of
was bringing it up from a perspective
so,
of like how the manga ended and how he was treated, to where like now all of a sudden, once you have a new generation of consumers per se, now you're bringing it back, who have forgotten about it or who have just like they've moved on to other things.
That's the thing, though. I don't think that's the case. Not for Bleach. I think because like Bleach and Hunter x Hunter both like for years, or since they both of them practically ended around the same time anime wise. So I think for those two series, yeah, but like for series like say like Soul Eater, for example, even though I know a lot of people like that too, and like some other series, or even Tokyo Ghoul, even though I think that will also fall in the Bleach and Hunter x Hunter realm. But like I think for other series, it'll be an issue. But Bleach was just like, especially out here. But based off what you said earlier, like potentially like Japan didn't look at it as, I think there's some people or a lot of people that thought like, you know what? Yeah, let's get Bleach back. I mean, Naruto ended. We got Boruto as shit. One Piece is still doing this thing, so let's bring Bleach back, and for old time's sake.
Yeah, I think it was at like the right time had passed for. I think the right time had passed for nostalgia to really affect it and boost it.
Yeah, I was just curious what you guys thought about that, because I don't think we've seen a return after that long of a delay with any other show. I can't think of one.
Probably not. Other ones just are like remasters, but this like is not a remaster. It's literally
it's a continuation.
Yeah, but it's very anticipated because, like I said, that Hunter x Hunter or like two that I can think of.
Yeah, if Hunter x Hunter were to come back, that would.
Yeah,
but manga needs to finish first,
and plus both of those are like they inspired a lot of stuff that we've seen, from the last 15 years or so. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, freaking Gege talks about Bleach
both of
all
those
the time.
Series. Yeah,
I mean, Demon Slayer has obvious motifs that are almost directly from Bleach.
Yep.
Yeah,
Black Clover.
It's present, like. Yeah, good old BC. Yeah. I want to say Tabata also cited Bleach as an inspiration, which is funny because everyone tries to connect it to Naruto and say Naruto inspired it, but Tabata hasn't specifically stated that. Like,
it's very Bleach like. Look at the captains. Like that alone should make people.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, come on.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah, and the one visored panel recreation essentially. You know the one I'm talking about, where they're all surrounding him.
Yeah.
You could be inspired by both.
Yeah. Like I think like JJK, for example, is definitely inspired from Bleach and Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah, like you're absolutely able to be inspired by both, but I think when you're talking about inspirations, if the mangaka
Oh
himself
yeah,
has
yeah,
come out
that's
and
a
said
direct
what
reference
he's
to Bleach.
inspired
And one of my
by,
favorite moments from Black Clover.
right, right, but like Tabata has himself has come out and said, I was inspired by Bleach, by Kubo. If he hasn't said that for Naruto, then I think in the conversation, Bleach should be first, you know?
Mm-hmm. And he literally had an interview with him.
Please listen to him.
He was like, Gege, you gotta. He's like, my man, like, you know, the women they are attractive, but you gotta do a little bit more. I'm like, and it's Kubo talking. You know how Kubo is with his women. He was like, you know
See,
what?
that's an interesting point. What if
I got you.
all these new gen like giving their flowers to Kubo?
He really told him. We said, yo, like, you gotta draw your women a little differently. He was
I
like,
mean, they're
I
busty,
thought I'm
but
drawing them really cool.
they're written better.
He said, I thought they were really. He said, I thought they were drawing really cool. And then he was like, you know what? All right, bet. Okay, I'll try. I'm like, Kubo, my guy.
I mean, Kubo likes his woman a certain way, but you know what?
Like,
They are all
man,
still drawn differently. So,
Oh man,
that's another thing with Kubo. When it comes to the female cast, which is interesting, like I think we talked about it recently, Twitchy, about how when you really think about it, like I know a lot of people cite, you know, Kubo or give him credit for like writing good women characters, but honestly, not a lot of them are like really that great written.
yeah. At least they have different eye types.
Yeah. Oda.
I mean, listen, there's a
I think it's also
range.
top intended, obviously, but like,
I think none of them are bad though. I think they're all good.
No,
It's
of
just
course
none
not.
of them are like not.
yeah,
None of them,
there's
but,
levels to this.
I mean, like we just earlier at the beginning, we were like praising Tatsuki and I was talking about Kukaku. Like they had very small, minor parts, but they were written well for that. Like
yeah, for sure.
for their purpose, they are great characters.
I just look at people like Rangiku, for example. Like honestly, I mean, she looks one of the best. Like I know a lot of people that say their favorite, but like I don't know. Like
Her
like you're
with that
paired up
short hair.
with Hitsugaya, which is one of the most popular characters. Why is she like not like? Come on, Kubo, do something more with her.
Yes,
And even
we know
the
you want
Ging
to sleep with your
situation wasn't
captain.
even that
We
great.
get it.
I
And even
mean,
the
he
Ging
has
thing
the
wasn't that great.
opportunity now.
Yeah, we'll see, because you never know sometimes.
Well, like with the captains having their bankai stolen, it's not just the captains who are going to have to step up; it's their vices. Like we already see what Renji is doing, but we need to see how the other vice captains are stepping up to help out because they all kind of stood by and let it happen. You know, it's not just the captains that need to improve. We need to see growth from the vices as well.
Yeah, and the damn lieutenants, they always been whatever. But we've seen them shine a few times against the Iran card. But yeah, the captains like y'all gotta set an example because I mean, you know, like maybe it makes sense why Renji
Next
loses
logical
so much.
step.
Yeah, maybe it does make sense that Renji loses so much at this point because like, bro, the captains are also like y'all be a disappointment too. I mean, they literally by like dialogue within the series,
Oh, is he?
it's different. They're softer now because they haven't been in war until the Iran card. Quincy's were gone. They didn't have nobody else, and it makes sense.
Yeah, like they've been just focusing on their Ashikai, and whenever anything went wrong, their captain went Bankai, and it was fine. Like,
And the only one that can really do that is Aizen. That really can just be like, "Yep, Shikai, that's it." Everybody else is like, "Eh." Like, nah, y'all need the Bankai. Some of you guys do need to use that, which is ridiculous. But yeah. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about, or you think it's about time to wrap up?
I think we talked
Nope,
about
I'm
everything.
pretty good on my end.
Okay. Let's see. We've seen some more Quincy's there at wherever their HQ is. So it looks like we're gonna have more battles, obviously, from some characters that we haven't really seen go to battle just yet. Also, we have things in Weko Mundo that's going on. We have Orihime and Chad still there, Udahada's there, and Grimjaw. I mean, we've seen a little bit of them.
I'm
So,
excited for his return.
Yeah, so I wonder what's going to go on there. Maybe we're
Goat
going
is
to get
back.
battles there as well. Some more. So,
Yeah, there is a lot to look forward upcoming here.
yeah. But, yeah, that's
Why
pretty
is
much it on
my
on
urea
my end.
sunflower?
Listen, every show has a sun, okay? And our sun is my
Gotta do some wild shit, though. I expect him to do something extremely
Our
just
son is my Yuri.
wild. As a matter of fact, I think
Look,
we
he's
really
going to
seen somebody in
use
the
the
trailer that he was
residence
talking to.
as a battery pack.
I mean, what are they doing now?
They're living.
No, he took care of that.
Oh my god.
Wow. Also, shout out
On
to
that note,
to Mayuri though, when he was calling out Yamamoto, like, bro, what are you like?
Yes. Like that was probably one of my favorite scenes, like, because every person was scared of Yamamoto
Yeah,
except for Mayuri, who stepped up and was like, no, this is on you.
mm-hmm.
well, what's the
I
phrase?
tried to
It's
tell
better
you.
to ask for forgiveness than ask for permission.
Yeah, it's better to beg for forgiveness than ask for permission. Yep.
There you go.
GG, you tripping, GG.
GG.
OGG.
Yamaji.
But Sunflower Man. Plus, this is against the Quincy's. You know he ready. He do not like them. That's the crazy part
No.
too. We really got somebody that's pretty much racist as fuck, but we low key rooting for him. That's crazy, Kubo. You're crazy. You're wild. You're wild.
I mean, it's because we were kind of shown that the Quincy are just that much more hateful and spiteful. Like,
That's true though, but still.
absolutely, they're both in the wrong. Like, but you got to root
Oh,
for
man.
one side or the other.
Damn. But damn. Yeah. But that's pretty much it. So we'll just say our goodbyes to everybody that's in the stream. We're gonna have more streams like this as well for like One Piece and some other series. Even Vinland too in the future. Once Vinland finishes up, we'll do one for that as well. It should be a lot of great discussions there too. Yeah, we're gonna have more content coming out too. So stay tuned for that this week. Vinland should be dropping. I might do it today or tomorrow. It might come out today, depending on. We'll see. But yeah. So if you guys want to, just say peace out to the chat.
Yeah. Well, first I want to thank you guys both for letting me come on here again and help you guys talk it out. It's always a blast hearing what you guys have to say. So thank you again, and thank you guys in the chat, Gambino, Ronnie.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we sincerely appreciate it, guys. It's been an interesting road these last 8 months, and Bleach is what started us off. So I have nostalgia for Bleach in that regard. I'm never gonna forget reacting to the Yamamoto versus Yuhabaha or like Stern Rider Y, like absolutely peak. So thank you. I'm just very appreciative of all the love and support we've gotten. So that's it from me.
Yes, sir. Definitely. I just put in the chat. Respect to you guys for pulling up and talking with us as well. Adding certain things too for the conversation. If we like misunderstood something or just adding more, we appreciate that as well. Appreciate you guys for sharing the stream, liking the stream up, all that stuff. We see the likes right there. So yeah, but like I said, at the end of every video and stream now, Hope you guys all have a good one. So please stay safe, stay healthy, stay clean. See you guys on the next stream and video. And peace.
Peace.
Peace.